presentation is from Rory, who some of you will remember his colourful presentation last year. And he's got some awesome information to share, and Kieran is going to be sharing some pretty cool tips as well, all related to what they're doing in the 100k factory model, and they're still absolutely crushing it. But anyway, I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, Aidan. So last year when I was here, we had gone through a pretty bad phase in the 100k factory and just managed to kind of get everything built back up again. And I was talking about, mainly about sales figures, about our revenue, and that's what we were all talking about at the time. And, safe in the knowledge that we'd put in, that we had our margins right and we'd put some money aside, and, that we were going to make a net profit every month. But that net profit was quite elusive for us. We always thought it was there, but then at the end of the month, when we wanted some cash, like to buy something, it wasn't there, So it was over a period of time, we figured out, various different things. We thought we found it, that's where it went or whatever, and we were always wrong. So it was just elusive for us. It was like I have a son. His name is Max. He's 4.5 years old now. But when he was 4, when it came to about 8 o'clock at night time and it was time to put the pajamas on, he was like a little elusive ninja. You could never find him. So if you came into our house at that time, like Ursula's in the kitchen like this, looking under the furniture, looking for a pair of legs, and I'm looking the other way for something like that, and you just never get the pajamas on him, And that's what our prophet was like. He's 4.5 now. He's 4.5 now, and now I can tell him just run upstairs and put on his pajamas, and he does it, and it's all good. And luckily enough, in our store as well, things are good as well for our prophet. So what I want to do today is I want to look at some of the numbers that are making our project successful. Safe in the knowledge that, this is the way we do it. It doesn't mean it's the right way to do it. I mean, there's people in the room here that are making better profit margins than us, and there are people in the room here who are making way higher sales figures than us. But we've learned some things. That's what I'll share. So we're going to look at a lot of numbers. I'm going to look at the numbers that sit behind our 100k factory store, of which we have one at the moment. So we're going to be talking a lot about. I'm going to talk a lot about numbers. Kieran's going to even talk about more about numbers. So to start off, this is my son's favourite number joke. So, why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. So this is us right now, right? We're the 108K factory. So last month we turned over $108,000. So that's the first time. It's our best month. And I'm taking, last month, I'm going to look at, with you, all the figures that are kind of behind that and see what, some of them are cause, some of them are effect numbers, and see what they're all about.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, it's great. I mean, we're really happy with it, but we've, a long way to go. I mean, we planned on being ahead of this, but we had, there's hiccups, things happen, and we want to move on a lot further than this. So this is pretty much it. So, I mean, that's fairly self-explanatory, right? So maybe we can just go straight into Q&A now if you want to, right? But basically, these are our numbers, right? This is everything is based around this, okay? So some of them are more important than others, so let's just dive into them and have a look at what we have here, okay? So let's start with, this 100,000, right? That's our kind of run rate at the moment. So as of today, we're on that 100,000, and if we don't do anything else this month, we kind of hope to maintain that level. Obviously, we want to do a lot better than that, and even at lunchtime today, Kieran stayed in here just to scale up the ads a little bit more and see how we can do later on this evening. 1879. That over the month of July, that was the average cart value that we had. 200. Give or take, it's the average number of orders we have in a day. So obviously we have a lot of fulfillment, to be done. So we have a team behind that takes care of all that for us. 215, that is the lifetime value over the last 90 days per visitor to our site. So every time we get a visitor to our site, they're worth about $2.15 to us. 3x, that's what we're looking for, our return on our ad spend. So if we spend $1, we want to get $3 back on each dollar we spend. 16%. We're getting 16% of our customers returning to us. I don't know why, but they are. I'm surprised at that.
This is by that you mean repeat visitors.
Repeat visitors, yeah, repeat purchase.
Returning purchasers.
Sorry, purchasers. Yeah, repeat purchasers. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, repeat purchasers. Sorry.
They're buying from your ads.
Yeah, but they're buying from us twice. Like, that's the thing, you know. So
You're not excluding them. Maybe they're coming back from your ads. Maybe.
well, they could be coming back from our ads, and a lot of them are. It's not really. I just never thought that, you know, maybe our products and services were that good that we would have like 16% of people back. That's kind of my point.
Yeah.
So then 7% then is our conversion rate on the site over that period of time. 250%, we mark everything up by 250%, right? So I used to look at, you know, when we were looking at a new product, I used to go to Amazon and see how much are they charging for it there, and then we'd work out a price, and that was one of the reasons we weren't making a lot of profit. So now what I do is I find the price of the product on AliExpress, I put 250% on it, that's it. Because if we can't sell it at 250%, it's not going to work for us in the long term anyway. So, but that includes the shipping as well. So that then gives us this margin of 60% that we have. So everything that we have is on 60% margin. And then that in turn, along with all these figures, gives us our 20% net profit, which is what we're after all the time. So from that then we've got 2, which is I think one of the key numbers that we have here, is that we've got 2 people working on this. And for me, I think having a partner is really important. I mean, I look around at like people that are doing well, you know, either whether it's a husband and wife team or whatever, like partnerships are really, really good. And this one up here at 10 a.m. So Kieran and I don't like to get out of bed until we have $1,000 in the bank in the mornings. And most mornings that's okay, like might happen at 6:30, 7 o'clock or something like that. But sometimes it doesn't happen until 10. My wife gets really pissed off when that happens. So she's there getting Max out the door, and puncture on the car, it's raining, sweating. She said, get up. And I said, can't. Company policy, is it? Can't get out of bed till 10 o'clock. So we were almost late for this morning, actually. But. And then the one number that I'm going to spend a bit of time talking about then is this 25 cents down here. It's my pet project that I'm working on at the moment, which is using our email list, because you know, I've had this feeling that we're leaving a lot of money on the table all the time, and never really sure, you know, what to do with it. So I decided to really dig into that, just over the last couple of weeks, with some help from Aidan. And so I looked at, I've looked at the various different tools. I've tried out different tools because I wanted to have some information to give you guys today on what there is out there, and I'm going to share some results from some of our campaigns. So these tools down here are ones, we've all seen Aweber, we've all seen MailChimp. Conversio then is another one which I haven't actually used. So I haven't considered these, because MailChimp and Aweber for me don't do what I really want to do with our store. They don't dig into enough data. I can't segment the way I want to segment and that kind of thing. And so I've concentrated on Klaviyo was the first one that we looked at. And Remarkety then, which nobody ever seems to have heard of, but it's a really excellent tool, and it's actually my favorite at the moment. It's what I'm using myself, and I'm working on Klaviyo for somebody else, just to test the two of them. And then what I've taken some of our stuff off Remarkety and moved it on to CartsGuru, just to check that one out as well, because that's particularly interesting because it's got SMS in it as well. So I wanted to see how SMS worked. So what I've learned out of that is that Remarkety is my favorite tool out of all of these, and I'm going to show you some campaigns that we're doing there, and the results that we're getting, them open rates, etc. The reason I like it is I love the user interface there. The reporting is excellent. It's purely for e-commerce. They don't take on any other business, only e-commerce. There are a few things that it doesn't do that Klaviyo does, but they're things that you don't really need. I mean, they are beneficial maybe, but Klaviyo is a chunky, clunky sort of platform. I don't like it. I don't like the way you design emails in it. I've had to kind of hack around stuff to get stuff to work the way I wanted it to work. It's a little bit over complex. And for me, if I was starting out, I think definitely Remarkety is the place to go. Now, depending then, these are all priced on the number of contacts that you have, the number of emails you send, and that kind of thing. And Remarkety is actually the most expensive out of all three of these. However, because I have an agency, I've signed up with Remarkety as a partner and also with Klaviyo, so I get a better discount off Remarkety, and I can give that to anybody who wants it here as well. So that it works out then a lot cheaper than either of the others. Sorry, not than either of the others. CartGuru is actually the cheapest of them all, but I just don't trust it. So what CartGuru is doing for us at the moment, I've moved all my abandoned carts just for a period, just to split test, offering Remarkety and onto CartGuru. And so what it's doing is it's sending out my abandoned cart sequence along with an SMS sequence at the same time. And the idea of the SMS sequence is to kind of force email opens and then force conversions that way. But it's not giving me a breakdown of my email. It gives me an overall email open rate, but so I could have a 6 sequence email, but I have no idea what the open rate is along those 6 emails. I can't split test anything. I can't see, if there's one issue in the chain, like if there's one of those emails that's not getting opened, I've no idea. And when I look at some of the coupon codes that we're using and the usage of them in the store, I just feel like these stats are not right. The stats that it's giving me, it also doesn't include shipping in its reporting. So I know my sales numbers are going to be off, but I also think that the actual conversion numbers are off as well on the system. So the good thing about it not recording shipping though is that they charge you a monthly fee, but they also charge you a percentage of your abandoned cart recoveries. And because they don't include shipping, then that works out cheaper. So it's about $49 a month, and then they charge you 3.5% of your recovery emails.
Oh wow!
So I'm just going to let it run for about another 4 or 5 days, but I'm going to be moving everything back to remarketing, and that's where I would suggest if anybody's looking, I would suggest that's a really good place to start. And and both of these, the support is excellent. Like they're really helpful on both of those. And they'll help you get set up and everything. But I just find in remarketing, if you went in there on your own today, you probably have a way better chance of getting stuff set up within a few hours up and running, rather than going into Klaviyo and starting from there.
Does remarketing have SMS also?
No. So what I want to do now is I've identified 1 or 2 other companies that do SMS apart from that just do SMS only. And what I want to do is try that alongside remarketing and see how that works. I don't even know if SMS is doing any good for us, because I just can't break it down. And I can't see what's happening. Yeah. So SMS, and the other thing then is Messenger as well. Is the other thing that we want to use for this too. So this is over the stats I'm going to give you here over a 10-day period, right? Where over the last, this is stats from remarketing, and this is what we generated over that 10-day period. Some of this is abandoned cart, and some of it's campaign. So, some of it is flows, including abandoned carts, and some of it are just email campaigns. So the way I break it down is that I've got my automation, which is stuff that's triggered by events in the store that automatically gets sent out then to people. And then there's the campaigns that I just go in and I say, right, I'm going to send an email to everybody, or to everybody who bought X, Y, or Z, or to everybody who abandoned a cart or whatever. So that's their kind of manual stuff. So I call them campaigns, and then the flows then are the automation bits, right? So this includes a bit of both, but there's a period here where I pulled out abandoned carts and moved it over to CartGuru. So this is CartGuru, and so these are the numbers that it's given me. So it's telling me my revenue is 556 there. I've kind of reverse engineered that. I've taken my normal abandoned cart recovery value, populated it back in there, and I think the number is closer to 2,700. So
Doesn't include shipping, right?
because it doesn't include shipping, yeah. And then we're running it so shipping is last month was about 40% of our revenue. So this is way off, So they're actually, they're causing problems for themselves because they're losing revenue here anyway. So if I take these two and I add them together over that 10-day period, then we brought in 11,500 from our email marketing. So over 10 days, 1,100. So I'm really happy with that. We're just starting. I mean, we don't even have all the automations done that we want to do. But these are all the things. There's more than this as well. But these are the first things I want to do, right? So we started with cart abandon. We've still way more work to do there on it. Browse abandon. Then I don't know whether anybody understands browse abandon. So it's somebody asked a question earlier on. I think it was Michael. You were asking a question about somebody going into an email sequence if they've just been on your website and they haven't abandoned a cart yet, right? So we've got 30-odd thousand emails at the moment, and we'll have cookied a lot of those guys. So some of those guys who might be on our website, where we are able to identify them with an email address, we can send them a browse abandon email. So we know that they were on, page X, product Y, and we can send them an email saying, hey, I see you were looking at product Y, here's a discount on product Y.
How do you get that email then?
Because we've had it before. So we've cookied it. So if they bought from us before, or they abandoned a cart before, or they signed up for a newsletter or anything like that, we can identify them. Only if we have that information.
But only if they had a cookie placed the first time.
Correct, yeah. Yeah. So when we moved our email list across, we sent out one big batch email which would get a high open rate on it so that we could get as many of those cookies as we possibly could. And therefore, I mean, okay, yeah, sneaky maybe, but like it's not going to produce massive results for us, right? But the thing is, these are automations, right? You set them up once and you let them off, and you know it'll be $100 at the end of the month. That's all, you know. But that's okay, you know. So I'm happy with that. So so then these others two here that are kind of grayed out, they're the campaigns. So they're the ones that I will do manually. So as Aidan was talking about there, you know, sales, like so to try and push sales, but also content, like just to, you know, to build our brand and that kind of thing. Then we've got inactive customers, so people who haven't shopped with us in, you know, 90 days, 120 days, 150 days, etc., etc. They'll all get, you know, different offers over time to try and get them back into the store. Some of that stuff, we've got some of it up and running and some of it's working quite well. The welcome series email, so the welcome series then is for somebody who has come into the store, they haven't purchased, they may have, it may be they signed up to an email newsletter, they haven't purchased or they haven't abandoned. So they're just on that welcome list, and you know, I think Aidan has a different name for it, and you know, we're just sending them some information over time to try and get them to buy. And as Aidan does as well, then we move them from that list then to the abandoned cart list or to the customer list or whatever it is. So order follow-up, which is something that I haven't done yet. A happy birthday email as well is another one I want to get. I want to grab people's email addresses, so we'll make an offer for them and say, look, if you give us your birth date, we'll send you something for your birthday, whatever it is, whether it's a product or a small coupon or something like that. And I've got some ideas of stuff we can send out. I'll show you some of my results on that later on, not on the happy birthday, but just with using those ideas. Feedback requests then is another thing that we'll do, and there's a ton more, but that's my roadmap for the next while. So at the moment on these emails, our open rate is about 30% across the like apart from the grayed out ones there, so just on the automations. Our open rate's about 30%. We have a 28% click-through rate, and for every email we send out, we get 25 cents. So the fucking more emails we can send out, the better, you know. Now, I mean, there's we're going to hit law of diminishing marginal returns pretty quick on that, but you know, it's nice, and like we'll double that. You know, we just need to figure it out. We're doing a lot of split testing with stuff and that kind of thing at the moment, you know. But it's just nice to know.
Or how many do you think you'll send?
How many do I think we'll send, like to one individual? I don't know yet. I don't know. I'm gonna.
What I was getting at was seeing if we could work out how much you'll earn per month per subscriber, because that's always an interesting metric. Yeah, $1 per month per subscriber.
Yeah. Well, that's easy enough to work out, because all we've got to do is kind of take our full database then and divide it by what we made there on this. So I haven't done that calculation, but it's easy to do, so yeah, that'll be, but it's not even worth calculating that yet, because we still have a little more work to do. You know, so these are some of the stats and stuff that we're doing. So this is some of our abandoned emails, so they're all stopped at the moment because all that stuff is on Carts Guru, where we're doing the SMS. So the first one we send out is this one here. So we send it out after 1 hour. We send them an email, no coupon or anything, and it's just got text on it. Says, hey, you forgot this, what happened? Can you read that? Can you see those? Yeah. The second one then, so these are my codes, like Aidan has his codes, and I like to be able to tell what these all do as well. So this one goes out over 24 hours with no coupon either, and that one says, whoops, it's an email designed differently, so you know, it'll maybe grab other people's attention, and it just says, you know, that product is kind of running out of stock now. Then over here, we're split testing a particular product that we have, which is a free plus shipping offer. And a free plus shipping offer is a really difficult thing to recover an abandoned cart using a coupon, because you can't discount shipping on Shopify by a percentage. You can only just give free shipping. You give free shipping, you get nothing for your product, right? So ideally, you know, we could just reduce the cost of shipping by 20% or something like that, but it can't be done. We can't give a coupon off because the product's free anyway and the coupon doesn't do any good, right? So what I've come up with here is I've got an app that actually locks down a product, so it makes a product private so nobody can see it. It's behind a password. So in theory, nobody else in my store can see that product. Doesn't quite work out that way all the time, but it's a help, right? And so what I do then is send an email to those people saying, look, here's this private product only for you. The email goes something like, we realized shipping was too much for you guys. If you were the one that gave us that feedback, thanks a million. If you know, and go over here, buy this product, take the other one out of your cart because it's going to be still sitting in there, and buy this one. So it's priced, it's a product that actually costs money, and the shipping is only a tiny amount then. So it's just a new offer, you know, and that's going okay. So we're doing, why are we split testing there? Oh yeah, so the first one is that private product, and the second split test here is we're just giving them a $5. We're just giving them $5 and saying, look, just buy anything else in the store if you want, right? And I'll show you some stats on that later on, but I'm trying that out on a couple of different things, and it's working quite well. I think that was your idea, the $5. Yeah. So then after 48 hours, then there's another one going down here, and this one has a 10% coupon. Then after 120 hours, we're split testing another one down here. So after 120 hours, you get email A or email B. Email A is free shipping on every order over $30. Email B is free shipping on everything over $50. So I want to see like what's working out here. Then once we figure out a winner there, we'll just use that one and we'll move on to $40, $60 and see how that works out. And then this one over here, that's our 168 hour, and that's called Fuck It, I Give Up. And so that one is from the owner of the store, and that says, hey, my team have tried to get you back. Obviously you're not coming, you win. But I've got a presentation next Friday where I'm trying to do X, Y, or Z, and I'd love to just get some feedback from you and that kind of thing. You know, I don't even know if anybody's answered it because I've never looked. But you know, at the bottom of that, then there's just like way down the bottom of the page is recommended for you. You know, and you know who knows. But at least it leaves people like with a better taste in their mouth at the end of the series than the last email you really tried to flog me something really hard. You know, so that's kind of my idea behind that one. So any questions on any of those?
After someone gets to the end of your sequence, will you put them in some kind of a generic like bucket list?
Yeah, I haven't got around to that yet, but yeah, I need a plan for that so they will still be in the campaigns, yes, right, that we're going to send out every month anyway. Yeah. But yeah, something else needs to happen to them, but I just don't know what that is yet, you know. And we're playing around then with the timings of the campaigns and how often can we email them and that kind of thing. So, you know, the first email, I was trying to figure out what email could I send every week, you know, so I came up with this staff picks, you know, so the staff have picked you these things this week, you know, and then that'd be great because we could send that every week. And so the first one I sent out, we made, well, I'll show you the stats in a minute, but that brought in $4,000. And then the second one it only brought in $1,300. So, you know, I don't know if I can do that actually every week, so I'll probably have to come up with a new plan.
New stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of different things we can try. Lots of different things, but I think we need a few more content emails in there.
On our store, of course, you need to have new stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But I think we need to maybe not sell as much. You know, maybe we'll play around with it a little bit more. This is only the beginning of this, you know, and there's lots more potential. So these are the kind of all these. Diagrams are all taken out of Remarketing, so it's got like really beautiful reporting, you know, so you can see everything really clearly. So the $5 giveaway that I was telling you about there. So I mean, you wonder like what's going to happen when I give away $5? You know, am I going to lose money? Am I going to make money? What's going to happen? So in this, we've had 27 people take up our $5, right? So we've got 576 in revenue, 346 in gross profit. So it's given us 211 in actual profit. What that really means is every time I come out with a $5 and give it to somebody, they give me $12 back, so I make 7 in profit. So I'll do that all day long. Yeah. I'm giving away a tenner next week, see what happens, right? You know, and we'll just play with it. What?
I never tried that.
Yeah, and
I use the $5 all the time.
So sometimes we lose. Sometimes we lose on this. But, you know, so somebody took the $5 and spent $2.90. Right, I don't even know how they did that, but they managed to do it.
But they are very rare.
They're very, yeah, and it doesn't matter. Take a few losses, no big deal. Yeah,
50.
Yeah, take a few losses. Sorry, Michael.
Can't you limit the when I do vouchers?
Yeah.
I say if you want to spend this $20 voucher.
Yeah.
You
can.
At least 100.
You can. No, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually don't want to do that. I actually just want to say here's a $5. That's all. And just see and it's working. Yeah. You know, so I don't want to put conditions on it, and you know, but we could try that too. But I want to leave it open to them. So for me, you know, when I do I think we'll probably look at it in a while. But you know, when you do the $30 off and the $50 off, people spend like 31, 32, and 51, 52, and that kind of thing. You know, so I just want to play around with the $5 and see what they do with it. You know, and they're doing okay. Like you know, they're every time they're spending $12 every time I give them that. So that's fine. You know. So our Fleet Plus shipping then abandon recovery using that app. So what is this about? Private products. Yeah, but I'm trying to think. What was the 75 cents?
No, it's fine. We get it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, so that's what it is. Yeah. So what I've done is so we created the product then. We put a price on the product. It was free, right? We put a price on it, and we charge 75 cents for shipping. And with the two of those together, they're 20% cheaper than the original cost of the product, right? So it's going to be really confusing, or whatever. But anyway, we're selling some of them, and it's working out. It's just one way to recover abandoned carts from Fleet Plus shipping, because I don't really see, it's a hard thing to do. So the free shipping test then that we were doing there, that you saw, where we're testing get free shipping over $30 and free shipping over $50. I mean, obviously we prefer the $50, right? But maybe the 30 converts better. But actually it turns out the 51 is working much better for us. So the conversions are way lower, right? So we don't get as many of them, but the spend is higher, and it makes us more money. So now what I'll do is I'll take, 50 is now our standard, and let's go 40 and let's go 60 and see what happens there. So that's the great thing about using tools like this, it allows you to split test really easily. So we're going to keep improving and improving and improving. That's how we're going to get that 25 cents up to 50 cents, I think, relatively quickly. It shouldn't take us too long to do that, And there's just, you can split test absolutely everything inside this thing, so it's really interesting. So here's then our staff picks emails. And so we can see this is this is the first one I was telling you about, where we sent out, so they hadn't got an email for quite a while. The open rate is a little bit better, but it brought in $4,000. The other one then on the other side only 1,400, and those open rates are kind of they'd be about average for us, for this kind of campaign. Sometimes we go up to maybe 30 or something like that. But if we go back and I look at some of these other open rates here, we've got 40% on that first abandon email, which is good. I think we can get it better, because I haven't even played around with the subject line of that one. But we can certainly improve on that once I get time to get back in and start split testing all those things as well. And what I'm doing at the moment is I'm kind of taking learnings from the guys at Remarkety, when I talk to them about stuff and saying what will work and what won't work. I've taken their learnings, and I'm also talking to the guys in Klaviyo and taking their learnings, and also talking to the guys in Carts Guru and taking their learnings, and also learning from Aidan, and kind of trying to put it all together and see what works for us. I mean, I think every store is going to be slightly different, but just the more I can learn about this, the better it's going to be, And
e-marketing, is it?
Remarkety, it's called. Yeah, Remarkety. So there, that's kind of my pet project that we've been working on for a little while. So these are a couple other things then that we're doing that are helping us to make that 20% profit. So helping us to make sales, helping us to kind of keep more money in the business and that kind of thing. So one of the first things, and Aidan talked a lot about it today, is having systems. We've got really good systems in place. They can always be improved, right? We've got excellent systems in place, both for Kieran and myself, but also for, we've got 3 people working in the Philippines and 1 person in Galway with us as well. And, it's pretty clockwork now, Kieran, I think, all of the systems that we have there. So Kieran, I look after the email side of things, and I look after finding and testing, finding new products, really. And Kieran then looks after the ads and all the finance stuff. And then everything else that happens in between is all taken care of by that team. And we don't hear from them. We don't log into our support system or anything like that. We don't need to do that. The girl in Galway takes care of that stuff really, really well.
We don't talk to customers. We don't like.
No, we don't talk.
Customers annoy me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they just complain.
Yeah.
And they kill my buzz.
Yeah.
I let you.
Yeah. And Kieran's wife doesn't like when his buzz is killed. Yeah. She doesn't like when he gets up at 10 o'clock in the morning either, actually. So he's got 3 kids. I've only got 1. So that's one thing. So the other thing we've learned as well is that it's not necessarily the product, right? So when we're testing products and that kind of thing, well, actually, let's just go back to systems for a second. So with our product testing, so our plan is to test 20 products a week. So I do that, but I don't work full time on this. I only do 2 days a week. So I don't really have the time to go through that process myself all the time. So we have a system with, I've got a VA there, and I use Trello for my management, and I just populated one side. It's like, these are the links on AliExpress that I want you to deal with. So then she comes back to me with all the product descriptions, all the pricing, all my ads, even the ad text, everything is written, and she loads them into the store. I go in, I just like quickly tweak the pricing because I want to change the balance between the shipping and the product cost itself, and I just take the ads in, and I launch them off, and away we go. So one thing we have learned is it's not always the product that's the winner, right? It's the offer, right? So we've had products that were just selling for us. We would have tested them, they didn't pass a test, but they sell away on the store, and we would have done something like change the pricing. So it could have been like a free plus shipping offer that we were allergic to, but turns out it works. But one case in particular where we had a product that we were selling for something like $13.95, and it had, it was marked up by 250%, so we were making our 60% margin on it. And I thought it was a winner in my testing. I passed it over to Kieran then to scale it out, and he just wasn't able to make it work profitably. He could sell it and he could scale it, but it just wasn't making the 3x that we needed, right? So we gave up on it. And then one day I went back and I was looking at it and I go, Jesus, like surely there's a way this works. So I went back in and I reverse engineered it, and I looked at, okay, well, what would have to happen in order to make that work? So I looked at our conversion rate, look at what we're spending on ads, look at the price of the product and the cost of it, etc. Turned out, I said, if we added $2 to that, right, what would happen to our conversion rate? Because if we added $2 to that, that would make that into a winner. If we were able, because they'd push it up to maybe 75 cents or 75% or something like that, and all of a sudden we could be making money. So we did that, and that became one of our best winners then for for about a couple of months there, Kieran, wasn't it, in June, and still selling.
The interesting thing about that, Rory, in terms of like...
Hey, this is my presentation, right?
Okay, is that product sells for $4 on Amazon.
Yeah. So another good reason not to look at Amazon for your pricing, right?
We sell it for, I'd say including shipping, $15.
Yeah.
So people say the 100k model, you can't make money because it sells cheap on Amazon.
Yeah.
I've got that product, we sold probably over $150,000 worth of it.
Yeah.
So it's 150,000 reasons that.
Yeah. So that's like. Yeah. So that's the offer, and that's the kind of reverse engineering. The other key then is testing. So it's to be testing and all the time to find new products. Now, over the last couple of weeks, I haven't tested 20 weeks. I've been my head stuck in email marketing to try and figure out that, right? But so it means that there's probably about 50 products in my pipeline at the moment that I've got to start lashing out onto the campaigns on to get working. The AdWords then, so we're testing AdWords with Mary Scarborough.
Oh, yeah.
So Mary's running just test campaigns for us.
You know Mary from before?
Yeah, I met Mary in Vegas years ago. Probably maybe when I met Aidan first. And the last I'd asked you about AdWords. Who would you recommend for AdWords? And she was still doing some work for someone, I think. So I gave Mary a call, and she's done work for a couple of clients of ours as well in the past. So I gave her a call and I said, look, I don't really want to get into this thing because there's so much in it, and I might test stuff there and I could be completely wrong and it might be a fail. So if anybody's going to test it properly, I think it'll be Mary. So we passed it on to Mary, and she's doing some work for us there at the moment, and let's see what happens. We don't really have any results yet, but I'll report back to see what's going on, because I know that you're skeptical about there being opportunities in AdWords, and that. Maybe that's true, and maybe it's not. I don't know, but let's see. And I just said, look, it's worth to throw some money at it and see what happens. Because if we are right, I mean, it opens up a ton of shit, So
bar the door.
Yeah. So obviously the email automation that I've been talking about, and then Messenger and sorry.
With AdWords, you're talking about advertising outside of Facebook.
Correct. Yeah, on Google AdWords. Yeah.
Rory, you might want to also, I was speaking to Kieran about this at lunch, but look at YouTube, because you can.
You mentioned that,
30,000 emails. You can upload them into YouTube.
Yeah.
Look like
audience, which is YouTube's version of Facebook's look like audience, and start advertising.
Yeah, no, brilliant. So I never even knew you could do that. Yeah, so that's great.
Are you gonna I had a question about the systems, because you talked about your VAs. And, this woman.
Siobhan. Yeah.
So, are you gonna talk more about that, or could you just expand on how that works? Like, does she manage the VAs?
Yeah, pretty much. She does. Yeah. So So the main areas that need to be dealt with are fulfillment and customer support, plus then products that go out of stock and various different little things like that. And so it all started with Siobhan. Siobhan is the girl in Galway, and she's absolutely brilliant. And she worked for a friend of mine who was a politician. She ran his campaign, and she's just great. Like, she'd work all day and all night, and Kieran and I have a conversation with her, and she just wants more work. And like, I want more work, but I'm going, you got to take a break at some stage. So she's brilliant. And she just solves problems for us. Like, she just, I sent out like one of the problems with that email that didn't work as well, that only $1,400 was, I called everybody Jerry on that email, right? So, when you're testing the email, and you're sending it to yourself, it picks a name, right? And it picked Jerry. And so I said, oh yeah, but that's the name, right? That's the name, that's okay. But I never looked back to see if my code was right on it, And then the email started going, oh shit, everybody's called Jerry. So, so Siobhan started getting all these emails back, and she says, did you call everybody Jerry on that email that you sent out? And I said, yeah, Siobhan. And I was about to write up an email to say this is what you should say to them. So I was trying to think, okay, let's do something humorous and then apologise, right? And I was trying to think, what would we say? So my email to Siobhan went like this: Siobhan, please do something humorous and apologise. So she'll do that, and she actually had it already started it,
Oh, that's funny. Just when you speak about these mistakes, in the last couple of months, I get more and more emails of email marketers or online marketers that send out an email, and then about 2 hours later they send another email and say, oops, I made a mistake.
Right, okay, yeah.
Is that working?
Yeah, could be. It could be. Yeah, I don't know.
Sometimes it's just stupidity. I
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
The worst one I ever saw was what's her name? Dory. Dory sent out a list, an email to her whole list, and had them go somewhere, like click a link, but her link was the unsubscribe link. I was like, I have.
Oh my God, that's great.
Worst
great.
email marketing.
Yeah.
So she essentially sends a list to destroy her list.
Oh shit.
All the good open rates, clickers, click on it and unsubscribe.
Oh shit. Right. So that's Siobhan. She uses Groove then for that, and then we use Dropified, which used to be Shopify, for our fulfillment. And so then in the Philippines we have Hazel, who will do all the product testing bit for me. So she just goes onto my Trello board, sees what has to be done. I don't even talk to her anymore. It just flows through, and every now and again, at the end of it, then we have, if either of us figure out something that could be better in the process, we've just got process improvements on the end, and we just keep firing them in there into the Trello board, and every now and again we look at them and we'll improve the process and make it a little bit better. Then she also does Facebook moderation. So we have two girls that will help with Facebook moderation, and then one of them said, look, I'm looking for a job for my husband, and so we said, okay, we really only want to deal with one of you, so now you can do twice as many hours, kind of thing, So her husband does work as well. He's trained and he can work away. Siobhan manages them, and so it's just an extra resource that we have now. But we're only dealing with kind of one unit there, if you like, So one family, one family. So
You got a kid too.
yeah. Yeah, let's get him going.
Live in the house.
Yeah.
How do you monitor? Do you just have a feeling for if they're really putting in the hours?
Yeah. So this is where I not necessarily disagree with you, but I just don't like to work that way. So I started working. We started first on Freelancer or something like that, where they do all the screenshots and that kind of thing. And I never looked at the screenshots for a start, because that takes up my time. And so the way I do it is, I need a certain value per hour, per week, whatever way it's going to work, right? So if we take fulfillment, for example, we need 20 orders processed an hour, if that's the number, right? And it could go up and down a little bit, that's all. But so if she starts billing for hours where there's only 12 products being done an hour for a period of time, then our value starts to drop, and then we'll make a call on it. So we'll probably talk to her first, just fire her and say, hang on, there's something going wrong here. But actually what's happening there is the hours she's charging us for, she's not doing the work or something like that. That's what's going on. So I prefer to do it that way. Just, are we getting the value that we need? Because we have all our metrics for that, and is that working out for us? And
it works really well when you've got like a a number that you can measure, because there's nothing intangible there. You know that you've got X amount of orders, and it should be done in X amount of time.
Yeah, and the same then with the product testing. So I need X amount of products. So she invoices me then per product that she's worked on. So I can see, okay, that product costs $15 to do, that one costs $12 to do. And you know, some of them do take a little bit longer, but on average I want to see that they all fit into the range that I expect. And that's the way, you know, that's the way I work, because then for me, you know, I just don't want to go looking at screenshots, and I don't like that relationship either, you know. So that kind of works for me, you know.
Roderick.
Yeah.
Is Siobhan, I think you call her?
Yeah.
Is she actually located in the UK?
She's in Ireland.
Okay, that's good enough.
Yeah, but I know all you French guys think, you know, Ireland doesn't really, you know.
You just call me French.
Well, we got all sorts of problems.
Right, you're out.
All right.
No, anyways, is she a full-time employee? Is she actually employed by your company?
She's employed by our company, yeah. We employ her on an hourly basis, but she's a full-time employee, yeah, so pretty much. We pay all the PR, all the taxes, everything like that as well, which makes her way more expensive than having, you know, somebody in the Philippines, because, you know, somebody in the Philippines, for a start, the hourly rate is less, but on top of that, you don't have any of the taxes. So, you know, but we need her.
Yes, yeah.
You know, so
if I hear,
that's fine.
She's your troubleshooter.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, Kieran was just saying today, you know, at some point she's going to need a break, right? So we've got to maybe train some of the other girls then maybe to take over from, you know, they don't deal with support. So we're going to have to train them to take over from support, and then we'll have a much more robust system. So if she gets sick or she wants to go on holidays or something like that, it's easier to move things around and that kind of thing.
One thing that we've done as well for people that are managing critical tasks is create standard operating procedures. So it could just be a 2-page document or 1-page document with screenshots showing do this, do this, do this. And then you've just built a cog in the machine, essentially, and if someone needs to take some time off, if they change jobs.
Yeah, and we do that with video as well, and the video then, you can put it up on the Trello board too, so the next person that comes in, they can still see the video, you know. And the other thing I do, and somebody was asking about how do you find good VAs, so one of the things I do, if I'm using onlinejobs.ph, I think it was Marissa was asking that, so I'll set up a job and I'll do a fairly detailed description. It's mostly copy and paste from something else I've done, but I'll always put in there reply with, and I have subject, and it will be a code that I just make up. So it'll be 9532195, right? And that'll be down the bottom somewhere with your hourly rate in the email, right? So the first thing I do when all the emails come in is just eliminate everybody who didn't do that, because they don't pay attention to detail or they didn't read the whole thing. So that makes that job quite a bit easier, you know. And then what I'll get them to do is a task. So I always have a task ready. So I'll take the top 3 to 5, send them all a task, see who comes back quickly and accurately, and that's how I choose who I'm going to work with then.
Why did you decide to employ her, like in opposition to just having her as a contractor or freelancer? Why did it make more sense?
The Irish girl?
Yeah.
I don't know. We did take her on an hourly basis, and we were at the early stages where we were just starting to outsource fulfillment. So she was on an hourly basis, and then as things built up, it was just natural that she should, you know, she was really good at what she did, and she came to take over support, and you know that role needed more hours, and she was available to do it. We liked her, you know, and she's happy to work any hours of the day and that kind of thing. So the job really suits her, and yeah, that was it, really, you know. So, and she came highly recommended to us in the beginning, anyway.
What level were you at before you needed someone to do that for you? Or?
We pretty quickly moved out of fulfillment because we didn't like doing it, and we didn't want to do it. But also, it wasn't the highest and best use of our time. Like, so that's something that we're really careful of. You know, if there's a task that is not the highest and best use of our time, and sorry.
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible, yeah. So the way I look at it is, let's say, you know, if we can, let's say that job costs at that point maybe €10 an hour or something like that, right? So, and Kieran's time is 200 an hour, and my time is 200 an hour. Like, we put a value on our own time, right? Then we're wasting like company resources if we're doing that job. That's the way we kind of look at it, you know. Because Kieran's time needs to be in the ads and the finances, and my time needs to be on this stuff and the testing and that kind of thing. So that's the way. So as soon as we have something like that, we get it off straight away, you know. So Kieran and I had a conversation yesterday, and you know, one of the things I said to Kieran, is there anything that you're doing at the moment that we can get off your plate, you know? And I don't think there is, but you know, to try and move stuff off as quickly as possible, so we're just concentrating on the best tasks. So, and again, like we have our operating procedures and all that kind of thing, so we use, you know, and especially with the support, like all the templates are there and everything, so, and there's loads of templates in there that we've no idea what they are, because Siobhan just creates new ones as new problems arise and she figures out how to solve them and all that kind of stuff, you know. So, so that's really good, like, but that's, for us, that's been a real key, like, to be able to step back from that stuff, because if we had our head stuck in that, we certainly wouldn't be at the turnover that we're looking at there. It's just, and I think that holds a lot of people back, you know.
Totally agree.
So then the world domination, then you know, so that's like getting out to the rest of the world. So our main markets, like obviously we started off in the US like everyone else, and we quickly moved then to Canada, then on to Australia, New Zealand, UK, and then more recently then just wherever. So basically we have one supplier who supplies probably 90% of our sales, probably maybe 50% of our products. And so we have a really good relationship with him. He does anything we need to get done, he gets it done. And we said, give us a list of countries you can e-pack it to, and we sell to all those countries, pretty much, you know. And so I think I have a slide somewhere there which shows like our breakdown per country of what we have. But so that's the other area that was important to us. The email automation I've talked about. So that's pretty much, you know, most of the stuff that we're doing right now, you know, without covering all the stuff we did last year, which we're still doing. But most of the stuff we're right now that's actually getting us to that point. Any questions on any of that?
Notably less cursing this year. I'm wondering if...
Yeah, I'll tell you what happens.
You know,
I didn't know, I knew you were recording last year, but I didn't realise you were going to send it out to everybody. So I don't know how many people saw that, like, but... You know, once my mom saw it, she says to me, "You got to stop that shit," she says, "and get your fucking haircut." So no, she doesn't really talk like that, but yeah, I said I'd try and kind of tame it down a little bit, you know.
Going back to the beginning,
yeah.
You start by saying that you didn't know where your money was. I'm there, and I'm there for 1 year now, and actually I have your money. I have discussions with my accountant because he said, Ricardo, you made $25,000 in profit this month. You forget about it. I don't have money on the bank. If you report that to the IRS, So, and I can't figure out where the money is.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I look at everywhere. I say, okay, I should be making this money.
Yeah.
But when I look at my bank account, the money is not there.
So I suppose the first thing is like the main numbers that we looked at there earlier on, right? Where are we? Right. These, right? Are your numbers something similar to this, right? Have you got the markup, the margins, like that, like 60%? No. So for us at least, right, and this is our experience, right, I can only give you our experience, as I say, like there's other people here who are doing better, right, but for us, if we can't make that 60%, so therefore if I don't multiply the product by 250%, we ain't making any money. Like that's just simple. You know, we think we might be making money, it looks like we're making money, but on the bottom line we're not.
Yeah.
You know?
Actually, when we made that change, Rory, we learned that in Vegas. It's a bit of a group like this. Talking to the guys in Vegas last February, we realised that the successful guys, a lot of the successful guys, were operating on 3 times a mark, or 2.5 to 3 times markup and 60 to 70% margin. Yeah. We were on 2 times markup at the time and 50% margin. Yeah. We came back and we fooled around for about 4 weeks, promising ourselves, and one day I lost my temper and I increased the shipping charge and everything. So we'd have 2.5 times 60% margin.
Because things happen then, right? So for example, you need to make sure you've got that 60% margin when you're selling to the US and when you're selling to Australia, because e-packet is more expensive to go into Australia, right? So all that stuff. So how do you do that? Well, then you've got to play around with your shipping rates and all that kind of thing to make sure you got the extra couple of bucks when it goes to Australia. All that kind of stuff to make sure that you're always hitting, for us at least, make sure we're always hitting that 60%. That has to be. If you don't have that, then, you know, there's so many other costs in there that are hidden that Kieran's going to go through later on, right? But there's so many other costs that we don't see, right? We just forget about them. Like, you know, and they're all tiny, but they all add up and they suck away all that money. And we've only recently figured out, and some, like, I'll tell you, some simple ones, where, you know, when we get to the point where we were at that 20% net margin, that was fine, but the money still wasn't there. Where was that? Well, we forgot. We've got like 3 other stores over there. We're paying Oberlo on that one, and we've got the, you know, 3 apps on that one, and yeah, okay, so it's only a few quid a month, but when you add them all up and say, geez, we've been doing that for the last 6 months, that's sucking a lot of money out of the business. You know, so all that kind of stuff, you know, you need somewhere where all the costs are in there. So now, you know, if we buy a new app or anything like that, it goes straight in there to make sure that that's written off against something, you know.
Rory, surely that 250% is on the goods plus the price of shipping them out.
Correct. Yeah.
So that whole lot out.
Yeah. So I take my. So I actually don't do the pricing. So our VA does the pricing. So she knows to go in and take the cost of the product plus e-pack it into the US, and she'll price the product from there. And then our shipping will automatically add on a couple of bucks then to cover it into Australia or anywhere else that's going that's more expensive.
And do you predominantly do free shipping?
Sorry, who said that? Oh, those, right, okay. No, we don't. In fact, we never did free shipping up until, free plus shipping is what I thought you were saying there. No, we don't do free shipping. We charge for shipping on everything, pretty much. We played around with, in the very early days, not shipping.
You are charging per unit?
No, only on very specific items. But no, normally we just charge a flat shipping fee. So it's $195. No, not for, sorry. Oh, per item. Sorry, not per unit. Per product.
Per product.
Yeah, but it is actually, sorry, per unit. Yeah, sorry. What I thought you were asking there is, like, there is a way within the Better Shipping app where, you know, if you buy 4, you can charge less shipping than if you buy 3, right? So we do that on some products, but no, we charge for everything that goes into the cart. There's a shipping charge for it, which I think is crazy, but people pay it, so you know.
I have to
okay, yeah. So no, that's.
I am charging for the cart.
Yeah, but then you see, so if you're charging for the cart, I mean, you can reverse engineer your 60% then, right, based on historic data, but like it makes it harder to figure that out. So if you're charging for every item that goes into the cart, you'll always hit your 60%.
Probably, you are right. I have to reverse engineer what I am doing, but I have a big problem. If there is one number there, that's 7%. That if I have that 7%,
yeah, you were saying that to me. You have an issue with that. Yeah. So I think that if you've got these numbers, right, I think that these are, you know, depending on who you are, right, numbers somewhere around this. There's still leakages out of the system with these numbers, and Kieran's going to cover them later on. But I like, so for us, for our success factor, they're the ones that are important to us. And you know, people are different. Like this is just ours.
But you, I think that one of the main ideas here and that you are trying to convey is that what doesn't get measured doesn't improve.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So we need to have a process, and after many insistence from Aidan, I started using VWO. But that's not the only tool. You need to test everything, because what you can't measure, you can't improve. You are playing in the
absolutely, yeah. So
one other quick thing on this whole missing cash thing that I mean everybody has to just keep remembering is that, you know, cash flow is different from profit and loss. So it shouldn't be dramatically different with this model. It is dramatically different with white label, but it is an important distinction, and they're both really important to measure. So you know, you should sort of educate yourself on
you should. And I've had a few conversations with people, not here today, but in the past, who've you know, I'd say to them, well, what's your net margin? And they'd say, oh, it's 20%, 25%. And I said, all right. And your VAs are in that? No. And your PayPal charges are in there? No. Right. You know, that's how you lose money.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes.
One more question with regards to cost. Sometimes when you look at products on AliExpress, you find the exact same products from, I don't know, X suppliers.
Yeah.
And sometimes the purchase prices of these vary dramatically. Sometimes you have like special discount options where you get the product at like half of the purchase price or 40% off, and this could increase your profit margins dramatically if you save money in the purchase. Do work that out constantly?
We don't. So what we do is when we look for a product, generally what I do is I go into AliExpress, search for the product I want, and then we're using, I think Aberlo does this as well, but the Dropified app then allows you to order it by orders, right? So but it also includes the e-packet shipping to whatever country you've chosen in the price of the product, so you can see very quickly what it costs, including e-packet, right? So I do that. I filter by orders because in general, the top ones being orders are in or around the cheapest. So you got your product that you want is going to be on the first page, and I just pick the cheapest product that's there, and we start to test it. And then once that product becomes a winner, or we're going to sell it, or we're going to put it in the store and it's selling some stuff, I'll take the link, I send it over to our other supplier and say, get me this. And then in general, he can get that for us at least the same price, but usually a little bit cheaper, and he'll get e-packet into everywhere that we need and that kind of thing. So that's kind of how we operate that. We have a really good relationship with him. He's a really good guy, like, so that's been very beneficial.
Adding to that, I work mainly with two suppliers. I only work with them, and they are very, very annoying. They are always sending me emails, Ricardo, why are your sales going down? Why are you not buying so much? And I tell, okay, now I'm buying this product from the other guy. The other guy is doing a better price. Oh, I will do even better. And they are always competing with each other.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. But the quality is important as well, because otherwise you're going to land yourself in trouble at some point down the line. Yeah, but there's exactly the same product and exactly the same product, and they're not necessarily exactly. Yeah. Okay, but like, you know, some of our products, they look exactly the same, but we've seen good quality and bad quality, and it's just the picture that looks the same in AliExpress, but they could be slightly different things, you know. So all right, so these are the other couple of things that we're testing at the moment then. So I'm going to move our SMS then from Carts Guru, and I've identified another app that I can't remember the name of now, that I'm going to test it just alongside remarketing and see how that stuff works for us. Then we've just started playing around with Messenger as well, and when I say playing around, I really mean playing around, because I haven't a fucking clue how it works. But it's just like I want to get, so I think Nikos has already started ads today going into Messenger, and we're close to getting that done as well, and I'm building the Messenger bot as well to, you know, to deal with, to have conversations with people, and I've seen some of it happening already. It's kind of crazy, you know, what's going on in there, and I haven't really done anything yet. You know, somebody asks a question and the bot's answering it, and I'm going, that's cool, you know. So that's going to reduce the cost of our support and all that kind of stuff as well, because at the moment what happens, somebody goes into Messenger, they get an email going back saying, hey, we're not here at the moment, contact support, you know, so that's more support stuff, so we can automate a lot of it.
80% of my support is done on Messenger.
Right, but how do you manage it? Within Messenger, or do you have it?
Within Messenger.
Yeah, see, I don't want to do that, because I want something like, you know, Zendesk or something like that to be able to do it, so we can have all the metrics and all the canned responses and all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, it's a pain in the ass to deal with it. Our Freshdesk, yeah, so I was just looking at Freshdesk because you were talking about it. We're using Groove, and Groove won't handle Facebook properly. It does handle it, but it doesn't do a good job. So so we need to move to that, and then we'll have like everything in one place. You know?
If it's a robot, that sounds great.
Yeah, well, robot will deal with some of it. So you know, because the robot can answer questions like, "Where's my order?" And when, you know, what's the shipping time, and do you have this product, and you know, and stuff like that. You know, so it has all that kind of stuff that it'll do. You know. So these are just some emails, like just to give you an idea of the kind of emails that we're sending out. So these ones are from Remarkety. So this is like free shipping on orders over $30. So it just said, that one says like, thanks to feedback from other customers like you, we just figured out that our shipping was too expensive, right? So if it was you that told us that, listen, thanks for your help. So here's a coupon. So the coupon for that one then would be free shipping on orders over $30. That causes some issues for us, right? Because if that's for a free plus, is that for a free plus shipping offer? I think it is, yeah. That's for a free plus shipping offer. So what somebody can do is go into the cart, spend $30, then go back and take 4 of our free plus shipping things, stick that into the cart as well, and they don't get charged shipping, right? Doesn't happen that often, and it still makes money for us, so I just leave it, you know, so that's okay. And then we've got these, you know, we can stick in these kind of, so this is the cart here, so that'll pull in their cart information, and then we've got kind of recommendation stuff in there as well. So we can recommend anything we want, from a specific list or stuff that's related to what you have in your cart already and all that kind of stuff. You know, that's why I want something like Klaviyo or Remarketing that will do this kind of thing. You know, and the other MailChimp and stuff like that, you just can't do.
Live data from Shopify.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It is. It's really fantastic. And we haven't even, you know, like dived into this like in too much detail yet, you know. So here's another one. So this is our $5. So like only 200 customers are getting this $5. So use it fast. And here again we have the product in there, Shop Now button. Just, you know, basic stuff. Like, but these are so easy to build inside these. Well, inside in Remarketing at least, a little bit more difficult in Klaviyo. I think.
We didn't call her Jerry.
At least I didn't call her Jerry, yeah. Yeah. So,
Again, that was your NP, was it?
20% is our NP, yeah.
Well, we target, we get close to it.
Yeah.
Target.
Yeah.
And that's
So we look for 3 times.
Sorry? That's before tax, yeah. And it's actually before our salaries.
Yeah.
That's our money.
Are there days that you lose money?
Not anymore. There are days that we don't make a lot of money, but we make money every day. Yeah. And that's kind of, you know, I know you look at your business a little bit differently, and you know, with the email automation that we're doing, we're going to be increasing the lifetime value of every customer we have fairly substantially, I think, right? And we could maybe in the future come to the point where we look at, you know, the value of a visitor, which is $2.15 at the moment, right? And let's say that goes to $3.15 and we can buy visitors at like 50 cents. Then you might start to say to yourself, well, you know, depending on the quality of those visitors, maybe we should just keep buying them, like, and get them in there, and over time we'll make the money out of them. Maybe, but both Kieran and I feel that we want to be making profit on every single campaign, every project that we're doing, every product that we're advertising every day. That's kind of the way. It's just, I think that's in our DNA, like, you know. So like it's like what you said to me one day when I was saying, should we pull back on the ads or something like that, and Kieran says it's against my religion to do that. But like that's kind of against our religion at the moment. I've been known to change religion in the past, so you know we might do that. I don't know.
One thing that is easy to forget with the email sales is to get a sale through the email, you're not paying for Facebook ads. All you're paying is the cost of goods. So the margin on email sales is much higher than normal margin.
Yeah.
And I was going to say that 20% net profit will probably go to 25%.
Yeah.
With email.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah.
If the leads are good quality,
that's right.
worth buying them.
Yeah.
I've been thinking a lot about that. Lately.
Yeah. And so good quality is a good point, because then we've got Wheelio stuff coming in as well, which I haven't touched yet, right? So our Wheelio list is all sitting out there ready to be dealt with. So they may not be good quality. So we'll deal with them in a different sequence and see what we can do with them. So that'll be a whole other kind of testing thing. There's 10,000 of them there as well as these other guys.
Mail of buyers is high quality.
Yeah.
It's the best quality.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. So I said I had. So this is our breakdown of countries here. Just to, you know, it's just the top countries we have there.
Australia is number 2.
Oh, Australia's huge. Yeah, Australia's really interesting for us.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, the audience isn't huge down there, Kieran. Sure, it's not. But
they seem to be very mature in e-commerce.
And the other thing is they don't seem to care too much about the length of delivery times and all that kind of stuff as well. Complaints seem to come from this.
You know, they're probably used to forever for shit
that's
to
it.
arrive.
That's it. Yeah. Like, so in Ireland and probably in New Zealand, if you buy something from a US store, you expect it's going to take ages to arrive. But like someone in the States expects it to be there straight away. Like, so they, you know, if we're in New York, our store says we're in New York, they're saying, well, how come I don't have it today? You know, I bought it. You're in New York, kind of thing.
One
you know.
thing I never understood is why deliveries to New Zealand are so fast. They take.
There's only 3 people there.
Yeah.
They know.
And the other thing is, Ricardo, they're way cheaper than send them to Australia.
Yeah, it's almost the same cost as sending to the United States.
Yeah.
And almost the same time to deliver. I never understood that.
Sorry, Patrick, did you?
I was just going to say we don't have Amazon in Australia, so we're not fast shipping.
All right. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Right, so.
And New Zealand do that, no?
I didn't know that.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Australia and Canada are very
terms of
sometimes I make more money on
in terms of drop shipping and delivery like time. Are you sending an email? Are you sending an email out to people as soon as they purchase from you?
Yeah.
Kind of start building a relationship and reassure them?
Yeah, so all we're getting, that's very basic. So that's like the post-sale stuff really for us. We haven't dug into it at all yet. So it's really, they're just getting an email, say your shipment's on its way. They get another email then say your tracking's available and they can track it on the website. But you know, it's like we need to develop that. There's a lot of work to be done, and that's one of the flows that we need to work on. Maybe not the next one, but it's one that's kind of high priority.
I noticed very early on with drop shipping, it seems to be a sort of like a high anxiety point because there is such a long delay time in getting the shipping out.
Yeah.
It seems to be something that people kind of, when they order something, then they start to wonder have they been ripped off.
Yeah, we get emails like that. You know, is this a scam? Where's my order? Stuff like that. You know, so. Apparently we do. We don't see them, like we don't see them, you know. But and then so that stuff can happen on Facebook then as well, you know. So you have to be careful of it on Facebook. That's one critical thing actually. So somebody comes along and does that on Facebook, straight away your sales are going to drop off on that ad. Straight away, like they're gone. So that needs to be moderated all the time, and that's why the girls take care of that as well in the Philippines. Kieran keeps an eye on it as well. But you know, if anything is going wrong there, they're in. So we have automatic moderation on some stuff. So if somebody's mentioning stuff like orders or stuff like that, or somebody mentions Amazon or eBay or something like that, that's our shipping that gets pulled out straight away automatically. But other than that, then we've got VAs coming in to check other stuff and to keep on top of that. It's critical.
Do they also monitor at night? I mean, night.
Yeah, so like, you know, ideally every few hours we have somebody in there. Like, you know, it doesn't always work out that way. We don't get that many bad comments. Like the automation pulls out a fair bit of it. Like so. Yeah.
My numbers are much smaller, but I get. One per week.
Yeah, but see,
and once I get one, it automatically I add it to the automation. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that's that, and that's Kieran. So, but before let me finish with one more. So I told you my son's favorite numbers joke, and this is my accountant's favorite numbers joke. So. Funnily enough. So there's an Irish cat and a Belgian cat, and they're on a boat, and the Irish cat is called 1, 2, 3, and the Belgian cat is called 1, 2, 3, and the boat sinks, and only one cat survives. Which cat survived?
The Irish one.
1, 2, 3 cat survived because 1, 2, 3 cat sank.
That was awesome. Thanks very much.
That's all. Right goes forward.
Yeah, and that's back.
And the middle one is the